Good evening, all of you. Again, welcome from Pathfinderforme. And we have these lives on Fridays and Saturdays. And we just try to solve questions based on one topic. And these questions are aimed at helping you clear any of the MBA entrance exams. If you can hear me, please give me an indication that you are able to hear me. Pathfinderforme. And we have these lives on Fridays and Saturdays. If I am audible to you, please just give me an indication that I'm audible so that I can get started with the sessions.
Hello and welcome.
Guys, if you can hear me, just give me an indication that I am audible to you so that we can start the process for today. Okay, so what I'll do is, let us get on with the first question. I will give you 2 to 3 minutes to solve this question. And let us see if you are able to solve the question. Your time starts now. Okay, so I don't see anybody has answered that question. If you've answered, please let me know that you've answered. Subodh, have you answered? No, I don't think you've answered the question. Okay. So Let me help you with this one. A sum of 9,000 rupee, and we will solve this first of all with the basic method, and then I'll tell you how to solve this question uh, efficiently, or what you should do, or how you should approach the question in an exam. A sum of 9,000 is invested at a certain rate, and after 4 months, an additional 4,500 rupees invested, but at a rate which is thrice the original rate. Both the sums being invested at simple interest. At the end of the first year, the total interest accrued is 2,700. What is the amount at the end of 5 years? So straight away, you are asked what will be the amount at the end of 5 years. Now, the first thing you remember is amount is nothing but principal plus interest, correct? So here there are two principals and two interests. So amount will be principal 1 plus interest 1 and principal 2 plus interest 2, right? So the basic method will be that you have 9,000 plus P into T into R. So 9,000 into, you don't know the rate of interest. So you have X, and since you have the interest accrued, you will only calculate the value of I1 plus I2, which is equal to 2,700. So if 2,700 is the value of I1 plus I2, 9,000 into X, that is the rate of interest, and is the time given to you. Yeah, the time is given to you at the end of the first year. So at the end of first year, the interest on the first sum must be this much. What about interest on the second sum? Into 3x into 8 by 12 upon 100, and this should amount to 2,700. Correct? This is the lengthier version of how to solve this question. And now, you will calculate the value of X to be 15%, and then you will apply the simple interest formula on both for 5 years. What I would do now is, I would just look at 9,000 rupees. If the interest at some rate of interest is rupees X, at the same rate of interest, the interest on half of this amount will be X by 2. Correct? The interest for 1 year on half the amount must be X by 2. But the rate of interest is 3 times, so the interest must be into 3. But there is one more issue here. What? That the second sum is invested after 4 months. So therefore, the second sum is there only for 8 months or 2/3 of an year. So the interest accrued will be 2 by 3. So you can very well see that the interest accrued on both the sums will be X only. So X plus X is 2,700, and what you will get is X is equal to 1,350 rupee. So 1,350 rupee is the interest on 9,000 rupees for 1 year. So that means the rate of interest will be 1,350 upon 9,000. You can solve this orally also. So you get 15% as the answer. Right? Now, what is he asking you? He's asking you what will be the amount at the end of 5 years. So what you need to do is 9,000 plus 9,000 into 15 into 5 divided by 100 plus 4,500 plus 4,500 into 3 times the rate, that is 45 into 5 divided by 100. Have you understood this? This should give you the answer. Any questions? Anybody who has the slightest of doubts in answering this question? I hope The solution to this question is clear. Let's go to the next question. And once again, I'll give you 2 minutes to approach the question. Your time starts now. Okay, anybody who has the answer? Okay, I can see Subodh has answered 6 questions. पे जितने लोग हैं वहां पे लाइक ठोक दो प्लीज एक. Subodh, 6 years, I'm afraid, is not the right answer. Anybody else who's got the right answer? Anybody else who's got the answer? No. Okay. So this is really a simple one. Amit takes a loan of 4,000 at compound interest. Compounding is done annually. He repays 2,200 at the end of first year and 2,100 at the end of second year to clear the debt. You're required to find the rate of interest. Okay. So you don't know what is the rate of interest, but one thing is sure, that you have some amount, 4,000 rupee, and if the rate of interest is R, then 4,000 into 100 plus R will be the amount at the end of year 1. Amount at the end of year 1, correct? And from this amount, what you've done is you have repaid 2,200. So I can call this less 2,200. And obviously there is some balance amount. And on this amount, again, there is an interest payable of R%, so 100 into 100 plus R by 100. And that should be equal to 2,100 because at the end of 2 years, the loan is settled off by paying 2,100. Now, I suggest that if you want to solve such questions fast, you should approach from options. Now, the first thing you should look at is total amount paid in 2 years is 4,300. Correct? So it implies that 10% or 8% could never have been your options. Why? Because 10% of 4,000 is 400 rupee. So in the first year itself, the interest goes beyond 4,300. And similarly, 8%, the interest is 320 rupees in the first year itself. And therefore, these two options are impossible. Now, out of the given two options remaining, I will try out with 5%. What happens when you set out or when you lend money at 4,000 rupees? 4,000 rupees, sorry, at 5%. So the amount at the end of first year is 4,000 plus into 100 plus 5 or 105 upon 100. This should be equal to how much? 4,200. From 4,200, 2,200 is paid back. So the balance amount remaining is 2,000 rupees. Correct? On 2,000 rupees in 1 year again at the same rate of interest, how much will be the total amount accumulated? So 2000 into 105 by 100 gives you 2100. So on paying 2100, the entire amount is set off. So by assuming the rate of interest to be 5%, we saw that we are able to satisfy the condition that at the end of first year, 2,200 rupees is gone. At the end of second year, the loan is settled by paying 2,100 rupees only. So the best answer here is 5%. This is how you will approach the question in an examination. Let us look at another question here. All right. So here is the third question. Try solving this question in 2 minutes again. Your time has already started. Okay, so we have only one person who has answered to both. Okay. So two equal sums are borrowed at the rate of 24% and 20%. The former is paid a year earlier than the latter, and the amount in each case is 19,200. So one thing is sure that the principal in both the cases are same. You have P and P. And since the amount in both the cases is same, so I have principal plus the interest on the first amount is equal to principal plus interest on the second amount. Because principals are same, this cancels out. And amount at the end of some time period is same. The only difference is here When the rate of interest is higher, the time period is t, and when the rate of interest is lower, the time period is t minus 1, 1 year less. So how do you calculate the interest on the first year, or on the first amount? Principal into time t into 24 upon 100. And on the second amount, principal, time is t minus 1. Oh, I'm so sorry. The time should be t plus 1 here. So the second amount is actually 1 year more. So the time should be t plus 1. It's given that farmer is paid 1 year earlier. So the amount, the principal that you lend at 24% is paid 1 year earlier. So t plus 1 into 20 divided by 100, 100 cancels out. Principals cancels out. All you get is 24t is equal to 20 multiplied by t plus 1. And if you solve for t, you will get the value of t as 5%. I hope this part is clear to all. And your answer, the correct answer here will be 5 years. Let's look at the next question. Here is the next question. Let's see how many of you can solve it. The principle applicable for this question, there was a similar question in CAT, not exactly the same, but the principle applicable was the same in CAT 2021 also, just for your information. Exactly यही question नहीं था, but a similar question was there, surely. And again, we will solve this question first by the basic method, and then by, I'll show you how to approach such questions in an examination. Okay, Subodh and Prachi, both of you got the right answer in the last. Those of you who are here for the first time, Pathfinder Lives will happen every Friday, every Saturday at 6:30 p.m. We will solve questions related to some topic of quant or English or reasoning and DI. And the idea is practice. So we'll have 45 minutes of practice on these 2 days. Okay, Tejas, I'll just explain why t plus 1. Just give me 2 minutes. I will explain. All right. So anybody who solved this question? Anybody who has been able to solve the question? Okay, none of you have solved. Okay, I think I've got one answer from Subodh. 3712.8 is what Subodh says. Subodh, I'll have to see that. How do you solve this question? Let's first of all look at a basic method. Akhilesh borrows a sum of money at simple interest rate of 10% per annum, and at the end of 4 years pays principal along with interest of rupees 3,200 to clear the dues. If instead of simple interest, Akhilesh is asked to pay compound interest on borrowed sum at the same rate at the end of the same period, find the compound interest to be paid. So you're told that simple interest for 4 years is 3,200 rupees. So what is simple interest for 1 year? Must be 800 rupees. The rate of interest is given to be 10%. So if simple interest for 1 year is 800 rupee and rate of interest is 10%, then your principal into rate, that is 10, into time period, that is 1 year, upon 100 must be equal to 800 rupees, which means principal is 8,000 rupees. And all you need to do now is to calculate by using the compound interest formula 8,000 into 1 plus 10 by 100 to the power of 4. Correct? And it should give us the amount at the end of 4 years. And from this amount, if I subtract 8,000 rupees, I will get 3712.8 rupees. This is the basic method of solving. So Subodh, your answer is absolutely right. But how are you going to approach this question? Because this calculation might not be actually easy. So you should look at this question by the following method. Let me help you understand how to solve this question in an exam. So you should know that compound interest in the first year and simple interest in the first year both will be the same. And how much that is? That must be rupees 800. Now, how does the compound interest in the second year differ from the simple interest in the second year? Because by the virtue of the fact that principal is going to remain the same in simple interest, the interest per annum or interest every year at simple interest is not going to change. तो सिंपल इंटरेस्ट चेंज नहीं होगा, कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट चेंज होगा. क्यों चेंज होगा? क्योंकि अगले पीरियड में this interest which was accumulated at the end of the first period will be added to the initial principal for calculating compound interest. So if I want to calculate the compound interest for the second year, it will be calculated on a new principal, that is P plus 800. इस ओरिजिनल प्रिंसिपल पे मैं ऑलरेडी 800 रुपीज कैलकुलेट कर चुका हूं एट 10%. इस 800 रुपए पे एडिशनल इंटरेस्ट आएगा at 10%. It will be 80 rupees. So in the second year, the compound interest will be 880 rupees. And at the end of 2 years, how much is the interest accumulated? 800 plus 880, that is 1680. In the third year, you will calculate the compound interest on P plus 1680. Your formula for calculating interest is not going to change. The only thing that changes in compound interest is at the end of every period, the interest gets added on to the principal. So on this P, you calculate an interest of 800 rupees. On 1680 at 10%, the interest will be 168. So for the period of third year, the interest is 968. And what is the new accumulated interest? The total accumulated interest must be 1680 plus 968. That is 8, 4, 6, 9. 6 and 2. Correct? So 2580 plus 68 is 2648. So the fourth year, the interest will be on P plus 2648. On P, I already know that interest will be 800 rupees. The additional interest will be on 2648 rupees, which will be 264.8. That makes it 1064.8 rupees more of interest. So what is the final interest? 2648 plus 1064.8. There is only one option which gives me 0.8, so it is easy. So 2 carry over 1, 1 carry over 1, and you will get 3712.8 rupees. Now this is a wonderful way to calculate the compound interest if you understand the calculations of compound interest. And in an actual class, this would be done very slowly, but in a practice session, you must try to figure out how these interests have been calculated at the end of every year. So hope this interest calculation is clear to you. Any questions here? Tejas had asked me one question that, sir, how we got 1 t plus 1. So t plus 1 because the former is paid an year earlier. So former is 24% wala interest. This is paid after t years, which is 1 year earlier than the latter. So the interest at 20% would be calculated at for t plus 1 years and not t minus 1, which was a mistake on my part. So it would be calculated for t plus 1 years. I hope this part is clear, Tejas. Next. And let us try to solve this question. It is similar question, but based on simple interest this time. And your time starts now. Try out this question. Okay, anybody who's got the answer? Anyone who's got the answer to this question, please? Tejas, Subodh, anyone? Okay, so none of you have got the answer to this question. Sudhir takes a loan of 12,000 rupees at simple interest. He pays rupees 6,000 at the end of the first year and 7,800 at the end of second year and clears the debt. If the rate of interest is same in both the years, find the rate of interest. So suppose rate of interest is R. So on 12,000, you earn an interest 12,000 into R. And is the rate of interest given to you? Not given to you. So 1 year upon 100. And from this, you pay off 6,000 rupees. So the amount for the next year is actually 6,000 rupees plus 120R. And on 6,000 rupees plus 120R, you again apply the interest. So principal plus principal into rate into time upon 100. And when you pay 7,800 in the second year, at the end of second year, the loan is set off, correct? So what does this become? So 120R plus 6000R upon 100, that is 60R, plus 120R square upon 100 will be 1.2R square, and this is equal to 1800. So you get a quadratic equation. And what is that quadratic equation? 1.2R square plus 180R minus 1800 must be equal to 0. This is the quadratic equation that you obtain. But I could solve this question easily by substituting from the options, correct? So I start with either 15% or 10% because they are easy to calculate. So suppose I start with 10%. What is the interest in 1 year at 10% will be 1200. So amount at the end of 1 year will be 12,000 plus 1200, that is 13,200 rupees, from which Sudhir pays off 6,000 rupees. So what is the amount remaining? The amount remaining is 7,200 rupees, right? And on this again, there is a 10% interest. So 720 rupees interest. 13, yeah, 7200. So 720 rupees as interest. Can you, what do you get? What do you get here? So will 10% be your answer here in this case? Can 10% be your answer in this case? So 13,200, you repay 6,000, the balance amount is 7,200, and here you get 7,920. So obviously the answer cannot be 10%. Can the answer be 8%? We'll have to check and find out if the answer is 8%. So here, to attempt such questions, all you need to do is substitute options and you will easily get the answer faster. So I guess that brings us to an end of today's live session. I thank you all for joining. Please keep joining us every Friday, every Saturday, 6:30 p.m. We are practicing questions related to MBA entrance exams, basically CAT and exams similar to CAT. Thank you very much.